So Erica Durance hails from Alberta, but has made a name for herself on both sides of the border. She is best known for playing a modern-day Lois Lane on the hit series Smallville. Take a look.
Look, I know that you're nervous, Smallville, but you got to remember, I grew up around Green Berets and Navy SEALs, not corn stalks and Jersey cows. You stick with me, I'll protect you. You'll be fine.
Chloe.
Out of the way, Smallville. Chloe!
Lois, look behind you. Watch out!
And Erica Durance joins us now. That always looks so fun when you get to give a big speech and you're in charge.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Marching down the hall. Listen, I want to talk to you first. We're going to talk about your project, obviously, but you're from Calgary.
Yes.
Everybody across the country is thinking about Calgary right now. Do you have friends and family still?
Most of my family is away from there. I have a couple of friends that are there and haven't, been part of the catastrophe that's happened there. But I have my brother's in Edmonton, my father's in Edmonton, and
right.
And you really see a little bit of kind of where you've come from, because they're actually responding in the classic Albertan way. Well, that's fine. We'll still have the stampede. We'll find a field somewhere. We'll do it.
We'll come together.
No
help
big
each
deal.
other out. Yeah.
Isn't that incredible?
It's impressive.
I have no doubt that they will pull it off one way or another. I lived there for a few years, and it's like they will pull it off. Great to have you here. We were just looking at Smallville. Your new project is Saving Hope. Let's talk a little bit about Smallville for a second, and how you sort of made it a lot. That was a big show. So you went from Alberta to BC to Vancouver to kind of start getting your feet wet as you made that way into the bigger jobs?
Yeah, it was just it was a smaller way of seeing if I was going to do anything in the industry, have a job, any of that kind of stuff. So it was baby steps, and then I ended up getting it, and it lasted for 7 years. It was meant to just be a couple of episodes, and kind of built on that. It was a lot of fun.
Is this a dream when you get a job like that goes on for 7 years?
For me, it is.
Because a lot of people think, oh, this is a long time. You can't
That's
look
a classic
a year
actor
ahead,
thing,
right?
though, right? Most of them are like, I have a job now. I'm so bored. And then they're mad that they don't have one. But for me, it was great to have an opportunity to play a character for so long and have job security. So I enjoyed it a lot.
And what I think was so neat about this show is that you had this cult following for Smallville, and it went on, as you said, for 7 seasons. But at the same time, you're not being hounded like a Lindsay Lohan or something, even though you're enjoying this great success. So I feel like it's the best of both worlds, and I'm wondering what you feel about that. A show that is successful in every way, but at the same time, you're not, not everybody's watching your every single move.
Yeah, I think that, it's two different things. I like to go out and I like the actual part of acting. I like the process of that. And then everything else that happens is a ramification, and sometimes it's big and sometimes it isn't. And so for myself, it's nice to just kind of have jobs that are stepping stones to other projects. And sometimes when they're too big, it's difficult to segue into something else. And so in that situation, it allowed me to segue into Saving Hope and trying my hand at another type of role. So it was good.
So speaking of Saving Hope, you co-starred with Michael Shanks in Smallville, and now you're on to Saving Hope, and you're also with Michael Shanks. That must have been amazing. Did you have to audition for Saving Hope, or was it just this perfect fit and you guys went on it together?
You know what, we ended up, it was kind of ironic. I got the part, and then they were talking to me about it, and then Michael was one of the people that they were, was their choice, and I laughed really hard because I thought, well, that's kind of coincidental and fun. And yeah, it's been great. It's great to work with somebody that you have a shorthand with and a lot of history, and it makes something that can be stressful and very dramatic, non-dramatic at all.
Can you kind of describe the show a bit, because I've seen it described as a supernatural medical drama. So, what does that mean exactly?
Well, listen, we live in a culture now where you have to blend everything in a piece.
Right. It's like somehow you have to work in a vampire.
Yeah, we joked about that. We're like, there's got to be somebody who has some kind of lack of iron or something, so they have to become like drink blood or something.
There you go.
But yeah, you basically take the idea of a medical procedural with all of that, all of those cases, which keep things interesting every week, and people are always interested in that sort of thing. But it's got a bent of something else. And so our character, Charlie, goes into a coma in the first season, and while he's in there, he realizes that he can connect with people that are kind of in the limbo state. And what a great place to bring that and then in a hospital.
Are you a believer? Did this make you a believer in the whole supernatural, in the idea of, connecting with the dead or whatever it is?
I've always believed that there's something else out there, and I grew up in a very religious community, and so that's always been something that's part of my framework. So this has been an interesting experience. I'm playing a character that actually is scientific first and foremost, and wants to believe those other things that are out there, but really struggled at first. So that was it was definitely an interesting.
That's why they call it acting.
Yeah, yeah, you'd think.
How does that add an extra element of emotion to the show now, having these ghosts around?
Yeah, what it does is it's just that other element. People always want to have something else in their sandwich when they're watching TV, and so you've got the real life and everything that's going on in the real time. And now, of course, this season is more interesting for Charlie because he has to deal with that issue in real time. And so there's a lot of really fun moments and clever moments that the writers have created for him to be able to kind of symbiotically do that. And then on the other dime, you're having this other world happening, and they've really brought in really interesting characters that kind of are, kind of stuck in wherever they were, and then they're part of this landscape. So it creates a really interesting visual and raises a lot of those questions. What happens after, and everybody can kind of walk away and think what they want to.
Can you give a glimpse of the day-to-day for you? Because people see the end result of these shows. They see and they read the tabloids, they read all this, so they get this glamorous perception. But it is a job. Describe what the day-to-day is for you.
So day-to-day is, I get up and we start our week quite early, so most of the actresses, we spend a little bit longer in the hair and makeup than the men. Men get to sleep in a little bit more. I get there at about 5 a.m. and I get in my hair and makeup, and then we work for, our show averages 14 to 16 hours a day. Wow. And it takes 2 to 6 hours to film, small little scenes, and so some days for myself are very heavily inundated with all the medical jargon and the surgeries, and those things last for hours upon hours, and we're sweaty and we're wearing shorts under our scrubs because they were just dying, and kind of asphyxiating on our own lack of oxygen. And then
at least you're in a hospital.
Yeah. And then I'll spend some days where I've gone through something and I end up having to kind of cry all day, so then that creates a whole other environment on set. So yeah, it's kind of dealer's choice, which is why I like it. Every day I'm doing something different.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
It's always changing. I misspoke. You are from Three Hills, Alberta.
Well,
Between Calgary
you didn't,
and Edmonton?
actually, because I was born in Calgary.
Oh, okay.
So it works.
Go.
And
All
then
right.
our family went out to Three Hills and we lived on a farm.
Turkey farm.
Yes, right?
Man, it's done a lot of living for a young woman.
Turkeys to this, I don't know.
I know, imagine. The second season of Saving Hope premieres tonight. Erica Durance, thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you for
really
having
nice
me.
to meet you. 7:57.